Hi, Hazel.
Hi Sylvia, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. It's sunny here, but really cold.
Yeah,
How
it's
is it?
very cold. Mm.
Good, good. Well, nice to see you, and I'm looking forward to our topic today. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Hope Springs. And today's topic is, how do you know that you're going through a transformation in your life? How do you know that you're going through a transformation in your life? How are you feeling about this topic, Sylvia?
Um, it is close to my heart. We just had a chat before because
Yeah.
I feel like there is a lot of transformation going on for me at the moment. I
Mm,
would think that it also has to do with my age and how I see things, and it's changing
mhm.
for me
Yeah.
as a woman. So it's my fourth decade now,
Yeah.
which is exciting and scary in
Yeah.
the same time.
Yeah.
So, what about you? How do you feel about that?
I laugh because I'm one decade ahead of you, so I'm in the fifth year. I agree. I think it's an important topic to talk about, and maybe it's something about as you get older, you start to notice it more, like when you're going through transformation. Because before, I think naturally it was something that I didn't think about until about 5 years ago, and then in my mid 40s. And actually, maybe coming into my fourth decade around that time, I started noticing things and really questioning my life. So, yeah, I think it's an important topic to talk about. And everyone goes through change, isn't it? And transformation, but sometimes we're just like not really sure what's happening
Mhm.
um, about that. So, well, first of all, how would you define transformation?
I think it's just like changing not only the entire situation in your life, but how
Mhm,
you feel about yourself inside.
mhm, mhm,
Um, and it usually it's huge. You won't be the same person anymore,
mhm,
but it's
mhm.
very difficult as well. I think
Yeah.
I would compare it to that butterfly, when it's transforming. It
I
is
was thinking of the butterfly as well.
it is
Oh my
so
gosh. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is so painful because we are holding on to what we were before, but
Mm,
the the force is pushing out us to be
mm,
something else, so we cannot
yeah.
stay there. But it is very painful because obviously we are holding on to the ideas, even if some of them did not serve us well. We want to stay the same,
Mm,
but it's just
mm.
impossible.
Yeah, I love that. And I thought of the butterfly as well. Like, I was thinking of it from a different point of view, similar but a different. I heard this story or I read somewhere about this butterfly and this person who got it's not the butterfly, it's the stage before. I think it's a pupa. I can't remember my biology, but it's a stage before the actual butterfly comes out of the
Mhm.
chrysalis. And this man took it home and he got this pin and he was trying to poke it to free it. And then he did not understand why. And then when it was free, the butterfly came out and it wasn't fully formed, the growth was stunted. And he went to his biologist friend and he was asking him why, how come the butterfly didn't develop properly? And he said to the biologist, told him, you have to understand that part of the process of the butterfly becoming its full self is that it has to go through struggle. And that's what makes the wing stronger. But you stopped it from struggling and helping it to go through that process itself. So that's why it wasn't fully developed. And Cass, what you're saying is that although you recognize that you're going through transformation and it's something that you can help in some ways, it's also not that um,
Pleasant.
pleasant at times. Yeah, that's the struggle with the struggle. It's not pleasant because you get feel so much different emotions and you're so much. Yeah, it can make you question yourself, can't it? question what's happening.
Mm-hmm. And very often we take it to ourselves. I mean, like, we feel that there is something wrong with us because this is happening. Because we cannot really comprehend that we're leveling up as such.
So have you you talk about in terms of your current and recent experience of coming into the fourth decade and noticing that, what are you noticing in your life that's kind of showing you that you're in, I call it transforming, like that movie. I'm transforming. So
Yeah.
a transformer. So what are you noticing for yourself?
I would think, like, first of all, like, I now pay attention of like what my inner self is telling me. So for example, I would have this voice, not that I'm hearing voices, but you
Yeah, I
can
get it. Your inner voice, yes.
yes,
Yes.
that tells me, oh, you don't belong here anymore. And it's a feeling, it's not, it's a voice slash feeling, let's say that. Usually there are things like many doors that I would think will be open for me are getting closed. So that will be another sign, which would make me very confused as well. And another thing I would think that it's people. So definitely some of the people will be gone because they are so used to being you in the older version, and you won't be able to do that. So for our you might reflect something back to them that they would like to be on certain level, and again they cannot comprehend that. And or there could be situation where it's like a higher power that will remove them from your life.
Yeah, I really agree, and I noticed that for my own, when I started really paying attention, this was about 5 years ago, 5, 6. So my daughters both were, the last daughter left for university, and they were, both of them were in university. And I was saying to myself, oh, now I can do all that I want to do. I can travel. I can start, like writing more. I can start maybe thinking about self-employment and all those different things. I thought, finally, I'm free. And I kept saying to people, I'm transforming, like having that image of the butterfly, like free to fly. And there was the opposite that happened. Like things started happening in terms of, like you said, the doors were closing. I started having lots of like battles with financial problems. People started like friends started leaving my life, or just like lots of challenging and tension in friendship relationships. Um, the job that I actually thought that I was the perfect job for me. So I left the NHS and went into this job in social services, and it was like a really high promotion, and doing like therapy training, teaching, all different things. And within a couple of weeks, I knew that wasn't what I was meant to do, but I just kept forcing it and kept going with it. And then I kept getting more ill. And I think one of the things I started realizing, like, this isn't me. So that's like, you were saying that you kind of know that you're not meant to be there. I started realizing that one of the things that that when you're going through transformation is that you start thinking to yourself, this is not who I am. This is not where I'm meant to be. But yet you don't really know where you're meant to, but you just have this inner sense that this is not who I am. And the first kind of big memory of me feeling that was when I was going through my own divorce, and I was in that relationship, and I kept thinking, this is not me. This is not who my parents brought me up to be. This is not who I am in my identity. What am I doing? So I think you start asking yourself those questions. You start telling yourself, I don't belong here. It doesn't feel right. And it might be in a job or a relationship, wherever. And to me, that's one of the biggest signs that you're going through transformation, when you start feeling in yourself that I don't fit in here anymore, I don't belong here anymore.
Mm-hmm. So tell me, in that time, how did you deal with those, because they are conflicting feelings, like, you doubt yourself, you're not sure what will happen in the future. So how can you deal with those emotions and feelings in the best way?
I think it takes a long time. I think there's a part of you or part of me that knew that I deserve better. Or there's a part of me that was thinking, I can't leave because of A, B, C, D. So I can't leave this relationship because you worry that you might never, you can't imagine yourself not living with the person or be with the person for the rest of your life. You don't want to disrupt your family life. You don't want people to talk about you. You're just scared. You're really scared. But then there's a part of you that knows that if you stay, that you're going to continue to be unhappy. And I think it was the same with the job. And I got to the point where I just thought, well, no one's going to help me. Like, I'm waiting for someone to help me. And I'm like, I'm praying and saying, God, help me, help me, help me. But it's not changing. So therefore, maybe there's something that I need to do differently. And I think I started realizing that I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim. Because if I start telling the story that, oh, poor me, nothing's happening, like, I'm so unhappy, and why is this person treating me this way? Why can't I, my manager can't behave this way? At some point, you have to start to think, hang on a minute, I don't have to put up with this. So I think there was something in me that started realizing that I'm not a victim. I'm quite capable. I'm quite intelligent. I can change. I've changed before. I've moved from Tobago to this country. And if I had that courage to do that, I certainly can have the courage to move and to do something different. So that was the first thing I think I started acknowledging, that if I didn't stop feeling sorry for myself and start thinking of that, I'm quite capable and I have got abilities, so therefore I can change. That was my first step for to move out of that, but also trusting that. And I think that's where, you talk about higher power. For me, it's like praying for guidance, and then when you're clear as to what the guidance is, then you can take the next step.
Mm-hmm. Very
How
good.
about?
I think it's for me, it's the acceptance, because when I was younger, I've been raised to believe that we have a lot of control in our life, but with the age and the experience and what I've learned is that we really have very little control over our life. We really have only control of, like, our actions and how do we feel about it. But the situations that are coming, like, we don't have any control over it. And for that matter, I learned to let it go. And very often I similarly pray. Very often, especially when I cannot understand what is going on, I'd be praying to even for the God to give me even more strength to let it go, because I don't want to fight it. I think it's a wasted energy, especially for something that is bigger than me. I'm not able to comprehend it, so why would I fight it? It's better just to accept it. It's better for our mental health as well. And again, there is most likely something bigger that I cannot see at this time.
Yeah. I agree. And if you notice, those times of transformation, because we go through change all the time. And change happens all the time. But the transformation we're talking about is when something bigger than you, that that something's happening to you, but you can't make sense of it. I read this book, I think, can't remember the book, but it was talking about that exact change of transformation when you're at the crossroad and you know that you're confused, you're feeling like trapped sometimes, a bit paralyzed, but you also know that you're not meant to be in that place. And it might be time that is not the right time to do anything. So you have to also think about, as much as you're aware of it, as you said, accept it, but know that with time it will make sense. But sometimes, but I think the key thing is to know that whatever this is going through, this type of transformation is so much bigger than you. It's trying to help you to get to the next stage in your life.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to create better opportunities, open better doors, and put you in the right position to be in the right job, in the right relationship. Because actually, that transformation in terms of my job, that job was preparing me, although I didn't get the things that I wanted to do because I thought I was going to travel more and, life was going to be perfect. It took 5 years to kind of get to the stage of, well, actually, no, 3 years. I'm in the fifth year now. About 3 years to me to start to realize this is, it's not, there's nothing wrong with me. It's not like someone's against, sometimes in Christianity, they say the devil is busy, the devil is trying to take me down. It's not the devil. It's just life trying to prepare you for the next stage of your life in developing. And I started realizing that I had a choice. Either I would resist it or accept it and say, okay, I'm gonna surrender to this and I'm gonna be open to see what is this is happening. And I started saying, okay, because what I was doing was I kept looking back thinking, maybe I need to go back to the NHS, maybe I need to do this. And then I started thinking, okay, well, what if I'm meant to be here and
Mm-hmm.
there's something better? And so more and more, the more I surrendered to it, the more I started seeing signs that's gonna take me to the next stage. And then I started getting like people just ringing up and saying, "Oh, can we, can you, we want to, can you be our therapist or can you coach me or whatever?" So I just started to surrender to that, and that was a sign to tell me that actually I need, becoming self-employed is the right thing. Although it didn't happen the way I wanted to, because I thought I was gonna like get so many clients for the first couple months, and I was gonna like, make all this money, and it didn't happen that way. It just gradually happened along the way, and the bigger picture was that I was praying for a better lifestyle, more work-life balance, to be happy and healthier. And so letting go of the past allowed me to create the life that I'm living now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's still not perfect, but I'm getting closer and closer to the dream that I imagined 5 years ago. It just
Mm-hmm.
didn't happen straight away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that we are being fed on this idea that, oh, the of what is talking about the overnight success,
Mm-hmm.
which doesn't really happen or happens very rarely, that
Mm-hmm.
someone is discovered like this. It really takes a lot of rejection and failures, and I do believe that it's a preparation for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
So very, very interesting discussion. I
yeah,
actually love the whole subject because it is changing. I see that it's not only changing for me. I think there's something bigger going on for many, many people at the moment,
yeah.
where they
I
have
think it's.
to revalue their life. And
Mhm.
also what I wanted to ask, but okay, go on, and then I'll ask.
No, no, no. You ask. Go on. Go on.
What do you think? Because I know many people, they don't want that shift. They don't want to transform their lives.
Mhm.
What can hold them back um, from doing it?
Well, I think fear is the biggest thing. So there's a few things. Fear. If you're afraid of change, and you're afraid of kind of letting go, then that can hold you back because you're afraid of that things might not work out the way it would be. You're trying to predict the outcome,
Mm-hmm.
and if you don't know what the outcome is going to look like, then you're scared to even take that first step. So you rather stay in that comfortable place with what you know, stay in a comfort zone. I think also maybe the comfort zone is back on that is if you're around people and situations that make you, say if you've been in the same, like living in the same location, the same friends, the same job for like all your life, it's really difficult to leave that place or that location. Um, to do something else, to do, to try and make a change. And to be honest, some people don't want to do the work, because it takes work. It work in terms of accepting, but also knowing that you have to be able to take the steps. As if you ask for guidance, you're going to be given the steps, and you have to do the work. You
Mm-hmm.
have to invest in yourself, invest time. So some people don't want to do that. It's easier just to stay in that little in that
Yeah.
comfortable space, even if it's not stretching you, but at least you're familiar with that space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's your view?
Uh, I agree with that. It's just like a lot of mindset work, and that fear that is holding us back. Very often, we are getting signs from other
Mm-hmm.
people, from the situation,
Mm-hmm.
that it's time to move on. But we
Mm-hmm.
we don't want to, and very often we sabotage ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
or our actions, and because the future, as you said, is so scary, that we're just, we prefer to be in, even if it's not really good for us, we prefer to stay in the place that it's well known, and we don't have to change anything.
Yeah.
So,
And sometimes the people around us don't want us to change,
oh yeah.
because it makes them scared that if you change, it means that they're not going to change. Then, I mean, if you change, it means that you're either going to leave them, or it's going to make them have to look at themselves to make changes. And some people don't want to, because they're stuck in that place. They want to hold you back as well.
Hmm.
Um, and so I think that's another thing that can get in the way, that the people around you could can create that. And maybe you see that in relationship, especially like in abusive relationships, where that one person will make the person feel like they're not good enough, or no one's gonna want you, or who do you think you are? Maybe, and so they would say things that would keep them back, or even in career, you would find. I remember someone saying to me when I shared my dreams over 10 years ago about writing, and she was saying, and she was meant to be a friend. She was saying to me, who do you think you are? And etc. So, and that really affected me. I didn't write for quite a while, because then I was thinking, oh, she's really intelligent, and she's got a degree in English. I don't have a degree in English, so why would I be writing? And so I think, but when I look back, it was more her issues rather than mine. So things that can hold you back as well, the people
Hmm.
around you. And sometimes you have to be prepared to move from that environment, in order to bring about, to engage with the change and the transformation.
Hmm. Yeah, as you said, like, I think you have to be prepared to fight for yourself, and it's
Mm-hmm.
very hard sometimes, especially like when the critic is coming from someone that, is close to our heart. um,
Mm-hmm.
Very difficult. What would you think, how you can, what you can say to the person, how to respond to this kind of critique at the moment?
Yeah, yeah, that's probably a difficult one. But I think I'm trying to imagine when I was in that sort of mindset. I think there's something about, I can only speak for myself, and
Yeah.
maybe speaking with the work that I do with other people. There's something about the person who is willing to engage with change and transformation, although it might be scary. There's a part of you that knows within yourself that you know things are going to change. So you've got like a little light of hope. You know that things are going to get better. You know that things are going to change, and you don't know how, but you just have that sense. So I think it's important to still hold on to that little light, or that seed that's telling you. And that might be because you've had experience from a childhood where maybe a grandparent was encouraging your teacher,
Hmm.
or someone in your life that reminded you, told you how good you were. So sometimes you have to go back to that memory and try and hold on to that, and try and I like, when you shared that YouTube clip with me from Tyler Perry, and he was talking about sometimes you have to keep that dream a secret until you're
Hmm.
ready. So maybe if you wanted to change or do something but you're scared, you don't necessarily have to share it with anyone just yet.
Hmm.
Just maybe just spend time nurturing it, maybe researching, slowly, building it. And then when you feel confident enough, you start to then share it. But that would come with doing your own inner work, as you said. You have to start to find maybe help, whether it's in reading books, whether it's in connecting to your community, whether it's church or your spiritual community, or maybe even going for coaching or therapy to help you to start to build that positive mindset that helps you to think that you're worthy and you're good enough to make that change.
And I also think that we have to kind of prepare ourselves that things around us will change if we change. Like they cannot stay the same. It's just impossible. But obviously at that moment it will be very hard. So we need just to, that will be a part of working on our mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is a lovely topic and we could go on forever, but I was just thinking in maybe just to finish, just wondering, excuse me, can you think of a time when you've gone through that transformation before and the impact that it had on your life? Can you share an example?
I remember a person. I'm gonna talk on the high level because I don't want to.
Sure.
So I remember I wasn't sure about one person in our life, and there was something within me that was telling me it's not good. And in those situations, I always put it to the higher power, God. So I prayed. I was like, please, God, if this is not meant to be, please remove that person, because I'm not sure. There's something inside me that cannot settle on that matter. And that person was gone next day.
That's powerful, isn't it? Yeah.
So
amazing.
I do believe in those things, and I do believe very often we are not able to recognize it, and we have to let it go. What about you?
What I was thinking, what you're saying is that the transformation is actually for your good. When you're going through those kind of transformation, it's not because somebody wants to hurt you. So even that example, it was protection for you, protection from yourself, just to allow you to be to live in peace and joy. I think the transformation, I mean, there's so much, but the most recent one I think is moving home. In terms of, for the last couple of years, it's just been living in a noisy environment, living with just people who are very, well, we won't even say, but I think I started realizing that they're not going to move. And if I want to have peace and happiness, I am the one that has to move. So the transformation was that change of mindset in terms of, what if there's something better for me and bigger for me? And what if this is actually an opportunity to move? So what if God is preparing me or trying to get me out of this place? So once I started saying, I don't belong here, this is not who I am, these people, they're not going to change. And I can be, and I just started thinking, if I'm here for another, can I allow myself to live here for another month, another year? And the answer was no, because I was going to be always in distress and stress. So the transformation was actually like you praying for guidance, praying for instructions, and then coming to a peace of mind where I knew that I needed to move and it was okay and I was going to be okay. And now I've moved and I feel okay. And the actual moving has actually allowed me to be so much more relaxed and at peace. But it's in a location that I never even imagined that I can live in. So it just meant that it was something bigger than I expected and something better. So that's been the most recent powerful transformation for me. And that's when, and it had to take me to let go of this house that I was living in, because I really loved the house, and let go of the idea that I needed to be in London all the time. So you have to learn to let go of stuff to be able to allow that good thing to come into your life as well.
And I guess staying open-minded as well, right? because as you mentioned, like, you didn't imagine that for yourself. But if you miss that sign that, oh, you need to do this and that, then you wouldn't be here.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we need to round up now, but it seems that there were some key things that came up, like acceptance, being open-minded, letting go, um, taking risk, recognizing that you're worthy and there's more ahead. And actually, whatever the transformation is, it's not coming to harm you, but actually to help you to move to the next level of your life. So I just pray that whoever is listening, that if they're going through transformation, that you can also know that this transformation is part of your journey. And maybe one of the ideas would be to just be curious and engage with it and ask questions like, what's happening? You know, why am I going through this? And is there a reason for this?
And trust that it's gonna be all right.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to end. So thank you everyone for listening. And I really enjoyed talking about this topic, and I hope you enjoyed the conversations too. And as always, please share your comments, like, share, give us ideas if you wanted us to talk about topics. And just thank you for joining us in this process.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add, Sylvia?
No, actually, I think it was very comprehensive what we were talking about. So thank you very much. I love our conversations, and I do believe that they can help other people, even just to, if it's just to pause and think about, oh, have that question in your head. Maybe, maybe that's a possibility. That will be great.
Yeah, and it's helping us as well, because as we're talking, it's helping me. So, like Joyce Meyer says, I'm preaching to myself. If no one else listens, it's gonna help me. So yeah, it's not just giving, but we're also receiving from this process as well. So yeah, absolutely.
Big time.
All right then.
Right.
Until
Thank
next time. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.